Hey there guys, today we're taking a look at Payday 2 running on the 1135G7. Now this is currently at 1080p at the lowest possible settings, and the performance is not the greatest. You will see very inconsistent frame rates. We're struggling in some parts to just keep above 30. It's not the greatest. The 1% lows are below 30 frames per second, and those frame times kind of spike around. So it is not the greatest experience. I think 1080p is really pushing it here. It's just not going to provide you the best experience that you can have in this game. Maybe if you lock the frame rate at 30 and you're playing with a controller, you'll have a good time. But playing with a mouse and keyboard at these frame rates with these frame times is not great. And even 30 frames per second, it's not going to give you a good experience. That's something that you can tolerate. Great. This will do that. But if you're trying to go for more of that 60 frames per second experience, you're not going to be getting that at 1080p. But if we switch over to 720p in a second, you'll see that the frame rate is a lot more consistent. And here we are at 720p resolution, and you'll see that the frame rate is just so much more consistent, way more playable. This is pretty much the ideal setting. The resolution drop, though, is a lot more noticeable than 1080p, obviously. It looks very blurry. This is one of those things where on a Steam Deck or a handheld, computer like that, this would be perfectly fine. You'll have a great time. But on a laptop with a 14-inch screen, this is kind of pushing it in terms of what is considered playable or not. But I mean, if this is one of those games where you just want to play with your friends, and it's either this or nothing, it's definitely just play like this. I would recommend the 720p over 1080p, because 1080p, you just sacrifice too much performance, and it's just not a consistent gaming experience. Again, you can do 1080p if you want to play with a controller and you don't mind 30 frames per second locked, because having a more consistent frame rate and a more consistent frame times is going to be way better than having fluctuating frame rates and fluctuating frame times. So I would definitely recommend, if you want to do 1080p, drop the frame rate down to 30, lock it at 30, and you'll have a decent experience there. Or if you want a smooth experience, drop it down to 720p for the resolution, and you'll see you can keep a more consistent average, and those 1% lows are looking real good, and those frame times are super consistent.
Shield eliminated! Fucking shield! Get us more firepower! Shield, for fuck's sake!
know there's at least two of them. At least.
Ready up! I got contact! There are at least...
Hard contact!
We got a shield.
A hostage rescue attempt is underway. Don't die.
Someone tell me who
We got a shield.
One less shield!
the... Shield taken care of!